Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I hope you guys have missed me. I've missed you as well. So welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. I wanted to give you guys a lot of different updates. It's been about 2 weeks since we last talked. And I hope you noticed the last time we were talking about getting into the markets, it was right before Bitcoin exploded, so I was pretty happy with that. I think it was around the $16,000 mark, and now we are at a rough 29,000 and change. We're about to break 30,000 in Bitcoin, and I understand a lot of people are watching Bitcoin, and I think it'll be a good play in the long run. I do feel like for the multipliers, the growth to risk ratio is not there for me. But I do want to cater this video to a lot of experts out there and a lot of people that are brand new to the crypto sector, because there's a lot of people you're going to run into just like me. I run into experts every single day and they make the same mistakes every single bull cycle. And when you're with MYC, you're going to notice that I say a lot of different things that are going to be very I want to say like on the other side of what people commonly think when they are experiencing their first bull cycle, or when they're barely getting a hang of what it's like to be in the sector, what it is to understand what they're doing. Okay. And I love that part because, I think that's the best part, when people start to barely get an understanding of what the sector is, and then they feel like they really got a grasp on it. And then you're still miles away from where you should be. So I'm going to cater this video towards a lot of different things. And I'm going to start with centralized exchanges and why you do not want to make the rookie mistake. And a lot of people that, are experiencing their first bull cycle right now, they're going to be making this same mistake. And, a lot of people are going to say, we're watching the volume. I'm watching the volume. I don't want to get delisted. Or what if this pick gets delisted? Okay, well, back in my day, we didn't need centralized exchanges. We only needed our centralized exchange for our corresponding country to use as an off ramp. Everyone has those and nobody is going to lose those. Okay. But when it comes to DeFi, that is the doctrine. If you're a real crypto enthusiast, if you're a real crypto expert, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever you want to think you are, DeFi is the doctrine. DeFi is the doctrine. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand the way the networks work. You have to understand how to use DEX, which are decentralized exchanges, and how to utilize your layer one and your layer twos. And there's a variety of different trading strategies you could use between the two. And I'm going to go over them with you today. And I'm also going to go over, here's what we're going to touch on today, okay? DeFi cycles, earning sustainable yields. We're going to talk about the market forecast. We're going to learn how volumes are fake. We're going to learn about the trading bots and all that stuff, because at the end of the day, the centralized exchanges are corrupt, okay? And I know a lot of you could be concerned about volumes, but as some of our veterans know, or a lot of our whales that have been with us for a few cycles or so, you'll understand that the volume between a bear cycle and a bull cycle are very different. In fact, the volumes that you're looking at on your centralized exchanges are only volumes that are predicated on that particular exchange. Because while everybody was sitting there saying silly things like, but Dion, I'm scared of getting delisted. I'm scared of these delistings. I'm scared of the volume. I'm scared of all these rookie things. But guess what? If you take a look online right now, you'll notice that volume went through the roof across all decentralized exchanges. Okay. My favorite decentralized exchange that we've always used for every cycle was Uniswap. See, back then we used to have to copy and paste the smart contracts one at a time and all the other stuff. Now it's pretty easy for a lot of you whippersnappers that are barely getting in now, where it pretty much plugs in everything for you. But back then we had to go to the DEX, and that's where massive amounts of the volume is going to be. And as you can see, we are now in a DeFi cycle. Every cycle, the crypto market is going to slowly educate both the rookies and the experts, or reiterate the same lessons as to why you cannot rely on centralized exchanges, especially if you're providing a forecast, especially if you're trying to get an idea of your analytics. You're trying to figure out what's going to be the best play for the future. Well, if you're an investor, Nothing is predicated on today's numbers. If you're an investor, nothing is predicated on the attention span of today. In fact, if it's popular today, if it's popular already, you're already late. In fact, as an investor, you're supposed to like things that are going to be popular later. You're supposed to be collecting and buying things that people need later before they know they are going to want them. Okay. And a lot of the things that I like are all predicated on Web3. I wanted to make sure that they're real Web3 projects. There's no single point of failure. That means that with or without the company, the products or the services that they sell you will remain in your custody. You're going to own your data. You're going to own your marketplaces. That's why I like ArcBlock. That's why I like Parsec, because these are data analytics. These are real Web3 companies. In fact, a lot of the companies that we talk about, especially in the past, on MYC OddApp is a software that we launched on Google and Apple. If you ever want to know if we're real, if you want to know if we know what we're talking about, if you want to know if we're real builders in this crypto sector, I highly recommend going to your friend's phone or your phone, whether it's a Google phone or an Apple phone, and looking us up. It's ODD app. It's MYC OddApp, okay? That stands for on-demand data. And we want to educate people. OddApp and MYC is for both rookies and experts and whales, okay? We want to make sure that we can help people on all different levels. Admins, developers, builders, validators, you name it, even miners. You guys are all coming together here on MYCNetwork.io, okay? You can visit our website, MYCNetwork.io. Everybody could learn off MYC, okay? We want to help everybody. It could be from beginner level to expert level. But the one thing we want to do is make sure that we continue those lessons, because keep in mind, while everybody was scared or getting scared out of these positions, guys, these are bull signals. If the volume is low, that means that people are buying, because volume is a predication of buying and selling, okay? So if volume is low, that means that tokens are being collected and they're being shipped out. There's not a lot of trading going on because it's a bear cycle. We're about to enter into the bull cycle. Right now, layer twos are not supposed to be moving. Maybe they'll have some upticks. Maybe there'll be some manipulation out there with different market makers or whatever the case, but alt season hasn't started yet. So what are you supposed to do before alt season? What are you supposed to do before volume goes up? What are you supposed to do before the masses come in? You collect while the prices are low. You collect while there's no activity. You collect when no one cares about crypto. So unfortunately, you're going to have a leadership mentality and do things when no one wants to. You're going to have to do things when there's no interest, because when you have interest where there is no interest, now you are working and building and earning in unsaturated territory. See, a lot of the mainstream kids out there, especially on Twitter, it's kind of silly. They all have this warped idea or this warped mentality that what's going to work best is what's popular. I disagree 100%. That is saturated territory. A lot of people say, you should like this project because there's a lot of development on there. There's X amount of projects building on it. There's over 100 projects. There's so many people here. That's not what I want to hear. I don't want to be there because it's already fished out. I want to go to new and emerging markets. I want to go where there's not a lot of activity yet. I want to go where my investment is futuristic, because profits and margins have nothing to do with what I am doing right now, because alt season is later, right? Right now, we're only going to watch layer ones. We're going to watch Bitcoin and ETH go up, right? You got Bitcoin halving 2024. You have the debt ceiling that needs to be raised by June, okay? You also have Fed now. You're going to have inflation checks coming eventually. You have a lot of these different things that are going to expand the balance sheet. As you guys saw, they expanded the balance sheet by over $400 billion recently to backstop the banks. And the banking crisis isn't over, okay? We're still losing USD buying power, okay? But what are you supposed to do now, right? A lot of people say, well, we want to wait till the market goes up for us to be interested enough to go in. No, you want to go in there when there's not enough interest yet. I see the momentum building, but it's not all the way there yet. We're still a little bit early. And on top of that, the US dollar right now is at 102. We still have good buying power, okay? And we want to utilize that buying power while we have it. As you guys can see, BRICS nations are already taking over economic power. They're taking over global trade. A lot of people are using less USD, and the US dollar dominance is starting to go down. Now that we're about 60% or lower, or 60% and trending lower, the power of the dollar, even at the index level, even if it's deflating to 102, 102.30, it's not going to have the same effect on the market anymore because dominance levels are going down. And at the same time, inflation is going up. CPI reports are on the 13th of April. And that, to me, you're going to see inflation go up. Now, I do want to touch base on this. I'm going to just throw in this little piece of data for you. Okay, I noticed that FHA, Freddie Mac, and all, whatever, they just got through announcing that they're going to allow first home buyers to have a 40-year mortgage. Okay, 40-year mortgage. That's crazy. Now, that's also for people that want to file for an extension on their mortgages. So let's say if you're in a 30-year mortgage, you can apply under a circumstance to get extended from 30-year to 40-year. And now you have buyers coming in to buy real estate with 40-year. Okay. Now, at first, a normal person might say, oh, wow, this is a good opportunity, whatever. And it could be, whatever. However, that's not what I hear. Okay. That's not what I'm hearing. What I am hearing is projection. It's projected inflation. Okay. That means that they know that there's not a real estate crash coming. That means that assets are going to continue to rise. Let's use another example. Let's go back to the BIS. I shared with you guys an ODAP. There's a lot of different things I share with you. There's a lot of different topics and subjects and sectors I like to touch on within our app. Okay. We built this app for you guys, and we want to make sure we provide data to you so that we get an idea of what's coming into the future. We want to make sure that this forum gives you the data that you need, and also the tutorials that you need, and the walkthrough for whatever you might need to do. Okay. But keep in mind, let's take a look at the BIS. The BIS is already instructing central banks to be collecting gold. You guys have been hearing it. They've been collecting gold at a rapid pace. So if you take a look at the BIS gold standard implementation process, they're going to have a reserve standard percentage on what reserve they need inside the bank in order to issue debt. Okay. They said that these banks need to collect from now all the way up to 2028. Sounds bullish for gold, right? Yeah, very bullish for gold, very bullish for silver. I really like platinum and silver over gold. Do I have gold? Absolutely love gold. But that's not the point here. It's the same type of rhetoric. It's the same type of projection. If the BIS, which is the banks, right, is instructing other banks to buy up gold for reserve all the way up to 2028, that means they're projecting more and more and more inflation between now and 2028. Now you're taking a look at the real estate market. The real estate market, they're issuing extended debt. So their problem is, see, here's the thing. The rates are probably going to stay relatively the same. If they do cut back a little bit, maybe they might cut back a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But either way, regardless if rates go down, prices are still going to go up in real estate. Prices are still going to go up in assets in general. So their answer isn't to reduce rate all the way back down to near zero, let's say, or 1-2% or whatever the case. That's not their solution. Their solution, guess what, is more debt. What's funny is, like, a lot of people hear bankers and they hear politicians say stupid things like, oh, we're trying to get rid of the massive debt deficit. We want to make sure that we reduce inflation. And every solution that they're proposing is not to reduce the debt deficit. It's actually to issue more debt. Okay. And that's unfortunately the way they want to try to pay off debt, is by issuing more debt, because issuing more debt is going to increase inflation. And bankers love to utilize or leverage inflation to manipulate asset prices higher, so that way they could stretch the dollar. Okay. And remember, like the last video I was talking to you guys about, money is elastic, right? So when you're stretching the dollar, or you're devaluing the dollar, you're manipulating your currency, you're actually devaluing the debt. And also, while this debt's being created, you're acquiring assets, because as you're acquiring assets, they're hedging as the dollar loses value. And that's the whole point why, we buy these assets like real estate, because when you have real estate, it's going to hedge and it's going to scale, because the dollar's not going to be buying more, right? The dollar's not going to be buying more assets because it's losing value. It's going to cost more dollars to live a normal life. It's going to cost more dollars to buy real estate. It's going to cost more debt to purchase a home, because the days of grandma and grandpa buying 10 grand houses is over. The days of your mom and your dad buying $100,000 to $150,000 homes is over. And for us, the times of buying homes between 200 to 300,000 are going away. Houses are going to be so wildly expensive, and the only answer the state has for you is more debt, right? And this is why I always think it's funny when a lot of these politicians sit here knowing the debt system is based on it's a debt system, guys. Do you think the debt system is going to want less debt? No, they're going to find more reasons to issue more debt. So as you can see, their answer to the real estate market going to high heaven is more debt. Because what did they say? Well, guys, we can't get the housing market to collapse. We can't get the housing prices to go down. We don't have pricing stability. So you know what? I got a better idea. Instead of 30-year mortgages, let's just put you in a fucking coffin for 40 years. And you know what? After that, maybe 50 years later, that's what's happening. It's just consistent manipulation into assets becoming so expensive that you're just going to have have-nots and people that got houses, okay? I don't think, I personally feel like the inflation checks are definitely going to be here. I don't know if they're going to happen this year. I would think so, if anything, but their accommodation, okay, to help you pay for your bills, or their accommodation to help people, afford their bills, is going to be inflation checks, okay? Or they're going to pad it. Now, what's sad about all this is, it's going to create subsidized markets, and that's worse, okay? Because you have to think about it. If you can't, well, let's talk about the bigger problem. Let's talk about the problems, as a collective real quick, okay? Capitalism, when it gets too big, or when governments allow too many monopolies to happen, and monopolies get so large that they no longer focus on consumers to pay for their operations, that they start relying on government to pay for their operations, capitalism starts to subsidize. And when capitalism starts to subsidize profits, subsidize margins, right? Now you have a state-ran economy. We're entering into socialism. That's what's happening. And, what's sad is, you have people like Jim Rickards and a lot of these other politicians that are starting to propagate to the masses that, this is just evolutionary. This is the evolution of capitalism. The evolution of capitalism is, you're going to go to socialism, you're going to go into communism next. It's just the evolution of the way things are supposed to be. No, it's not. There's actually a lot of different things that you could do, like letting banks collapse, like letting pharmaceutical companies not subsidize their bullshit products to poison people. How about letting the housing market collapse instead of just saying, you know what, we're not going to fix shit. We're just going to allow people to bury themselves in more and more debt. Guys, we're entering into, I would say, a fully subsidized economy, because that's what these next checks are going to be. That's going to be the nail in the coffin. And from here, we are going to watch the dollar start to lose value. I imagine within the next year or so, maybe sooner than that, we are going to be sub 100 cents. I think that by the time we get closer to 2025 or maybe late 2024, maybe mid, we might start seeing somewhere in the vicinity of 80 cents. Who knows? But it's going to take some years. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to that same mind frame, or that same mindset, let's say, to hodl assets when nobody cares about them. Hodl assets when they're cheap, because that's the point. A lot of people judge performance on different assets, and it could be any asset, guys. It could be anything. It could be anything in the crypto sector. I don't know what picks you guys like or whatever. It could be anything. But a lot of people are foolish. They're foolish to be looking at volumes and thinking they're real, to be looking at volumes and thinking that people are buying and trading and selling and buying. Like, there's not a lot of activity happening. The smart people are buying assets and they're shipping them out. Volumes go dead on the centralized exchanges. And then because of scrutiny over regulations or scrutiny of this or that or whatever the centralized exchanges have, okay, they might delist, they might do this. But guess what this is doing? All of the things that we're dealing with in this cycle are just another story and another bullish sentiment as to why crypto is so important. DeFi, decentralized finance, okay? And that's why you saw the centralized exchange volumes or centralized activity go down. And that's why you just saw, I don't know if those of you have been paying attention the last couple weeks, you could go take a look now. All the DEX, all the decentralized exchanges, all the volumes are going through the roof. And it's because they need accessibility. And this is why I'm calling it, this is the DeFi cycle of the whole bull cycle. And every bull cycle, you're going to go through a variety of different lessons that are going to be callings to individuals in the sector. Because every individual, me, you, your friends, they all have a calling in the sector for what they like. Some people like staking. Some people like liquidity pools. Some people like validating. Some people like mining. Some people like leverage trading, short-term trading, long-term trading. There's a calling for each individual in the sector. And a lot of people ask me sometimes, well, Dion, what are you doing? And I'm always transparent with you guys what I'm doing. But that's, on me. That's on me for what I want to do, right? Because I like certain things. But I have a lot of people within our network that like different things. Some people really like NFTs. Some people really like, doing this or that, whatever it may be. But that's why it's important for you to figure out who you are as an individual or as an investor before you start listening to all these different people. Don't look for directions, look for yourself. Look for yourself in this sector. Because now we're entering into the DeFi cycle of things, because keep in mind, every cycle we go through this. Scrutiny, regulations, people fucking, doing dumb things like FTX and all this other stuff, all this, limitation, all this centralized control is happening. So when too much centralization control happens, what does the market do? They search for yield. They search for other places to do business. It's not on centralized exchanges, guys. Volume went down. It was stale. Where did the volume go? DeFi. It went to the decentralized exchanges. So we are now in the teaching phase of the DeFi cycle. Okay. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about this, because there's a variety of different things you could do in the DeFi sector to make money. Now, and it depends on what you like. Okay. Some, like me, I think pools are great. I provide liquidity on TRX. I like TRX. You could, and then keep in mind, it could work the same for anything. You could do this for ETH. You could do this for TRX. It could be anything. Okay. Cosmos, whatever. It could be any layer one or layer zero, whatever you want to call them, But at the end of the day, when you're providing liquidity, all you're doing is you're providing equal value amounts between the L1 and the L2. Okay. So for instance, let's use ArcBlock. Let's use Dragon Chain. Let's use Jasmine as an example. Okay. There was some delistings. There was some whatever. So guess what people are doing now? Because their accessibility is going down, or there's other tokens out there, whatever they may be. They could be your favorite tokens, guys. There's scrutiny happening from different governments and different places around the world. So you're watching delistings happen. You're watching this, and that. So the market is responding by going DeFi. That's the point of crypto, guys, to go DeFi. So what a lot of people are doing is, for instance, they're going to take ETH and their ERC20. Okay. So for instance, they're going to take ETH and ABT tokens, and they're going to go to Uniswap and they're going to provide liquidity. Now they're going to earn transaction fees while people swap. And what this does is it allows investors to earn money. It allows them to earn ETH and ABT tokens. Or let's use Dragon Chain as an example. You pair ETH to Dragon Chain, you're going to earn Dragon Chain, and you're going to earn ETH, or whatever ERC20 token you want. Same thing with Tron. If you have a favorite TRC20 token, you're going to pair your TRC20 token to your TRX coin, and you're going to supply liquidity. And each transaction that comes in, you're going to earn transaction fees on that. Okay. There's no lockup period. You could pull out anytime. Now, keep in mind, when you're providing liquidity, it doesn't mean it's always going to be a good deal. There's a particular time to do these, and I'm going to go over this on staking too. Okay, they're different, a little bit different, but you're earning money on transaction fees. Okay, right now during these times, I like liquidity providing because there's barely any liquidity in the DeFi exchanges. They're barely building up, so that leaves tremendous opportunity to earn a lot of ETH or a lot of the layer 1 and get your L2 token that you're already investing in. Okay. And what's nice about this is it's going to earn you that passive income while you're waiting anyways. But on top of that, you're providing accessibility. You're providing 100% accessibility. Okay. Because what happens when people take a look at different picks or whatever the case, they're saying, oh, well, Dion, it's only available on this exchange, or it's only available on this exchange. I really don't care for centralized exchanges like that. They're off ramps. That's it. Okay. Because I'm here for DeFi. I'm in the DeFi space. You guys are in DeFi. You're in crypto. Okay. Well, you're in the DeFi space. Okay. Let's kind of keep it moving here. So again, because you're finding scrutiny here in this country, because you have limited listing on over here, or maybe Australia can't get this token, or maybe Germany can't get this token, maybe America can't get this token, or maybe whatever it may be. That's creating limitation of accessibility because centralized exchanges are centralized. See? So when you are providing a liquidity pool on Uniswap, you are creating 100% accessibility to anybody that has a MetaMask or a DeFi wallet to buy ETH, go on Uniswap, and swap for that token so they could get it and not be limited by centralized exchanges. And in return, you're getting paid on each transaction fee. Okay. And right now, across a variety of different coins and tokens out there, the liquidity pools are small. Okay. Because the market is barely getting started. But this is the ultimate signal that this is the beginning of the bull cycle. And as you guys can see, when Bitcoin was around 15, 16,000, I told you, this is it. And boom, it happened. Now I'm telling you guys, every bull cycle, there's different marketing sequences. There's different educational sequences for both experts, for both amateurs, whatever the case, or beginners, whatever you want to say. There is different lessons and experiences that are going to be taught to the masses every bull cycle. Okay. You start going through one section, you get a lot of scrutiny. The DeFi education is starting to come up because you got too much scrutiny limiting access. Okay. So there's that. So let's move on to staking. Okay. And so staking is okay, but you want to make sure that you time your stakes. Also, for those of you that are hanging out in Cosmos, don't forget a lot of these leaders pretend that they're pushing passive income. But when scalability happens, don't get locked in, because if you get locked in and you get dumped on, you're not going to be able to get out. Okay. I don't want you guys to go through what a lot of people went through. Thankfully, I never had to experience this stuff, but I warned a lot of people, and a lot of people don't listen. There's a lot of people I run into every single day that are better experts than me, and they get wrecked every single time. They get wrecked. Okay. So I'm trying to tell you guys, as you're staking, if you're providing, either way, if you're doing liquidity providing, if you're becoming an LP, okay, if you're staking, right now is okay. Right now has, I would say, minuscule risk, in my opinion, because this is the beginning of a new market. However, I would not become a liquidity provider or a staker of a token late 2024. I wouldn't become a late staker in 2025 or supply liquidity in 2025, because now you're getting closer and closer to the end of the cycle. Okay. So during the moments adding up to those things, it could be very profitable because you could earn yield. You could earn sustainable yield. Okay. However, like I said, regardless of timeline, okay, plan your stakes, have a strategy, de-risk as these things are happening, because like first off, if it's like, let's say if it's a stake, okay? If it's a stake and you get locked in for 3 days or 21 days or 7 days, whatever it may be. Let's say if you're playing with like any time locks or anything like that, you want to time that out too. For instance, if I was going to stake Hex, something like that, or if I was going to escrow my XRP, if I wanted to escrow my XRP or whatever the case, I would do that for a year and a half, or whatever, or whatever it may be, whatever your goals are for divesting. Okay. I would plan those things out. Right now it's okay because it's the beginning of a new market. You're going to get scalability. You have minuscule risk. There is risk, pending per token and all that stuff. You don't want to measure per token, based on the whole cycle. Okay. Don't do that. But what I am saying is, you still want to have a timer on what you're doing. Okay. For those of you that don't know how to supply liquidity, for those of you that don't know how to stake or utilize DeFi wallets, okay, join ODAP. It's 23 USD a month. If you support MYC, I want you guys to subscribe to the app. It's our software. We built it. It's on Apple. It's on Google. You want to know if we're real. You want to know if we actually have things that we built based on our performance and our results, because there's a lot of people out there, guys, talking on YouTube and they don't have an app. They got Discord. They got a Patreon. They have a website. They haven't built software. We built software. MYC has done things no one else has. Okay. And for those of you guys that are admins or influencers or developers out there, this is not to put you down. I'm not saying that. Okay. Everyone has a process. That's where I started too. I started off on YouTube. Everything's a process. However, I have to introduce why or how far we've gotten based on our results and based on our work ethic to get to this point. Okay. So it's not to down you guys, but I do need to differentiate ourselves in some sort of way to show people, hey, look, we are different. We do have results. We do have products. We do have services, So I don't want you guys to take that differently, because I do care about you guys. There's a lot of our people, like we have Dragon Chain CEO with us. We got ArcBlock CEO with us. We have a lot of different CEOs from different ecosystems that are within ODAP now. So, I always want to make sure that we could educate the beginners, educate the experts, and I still want to educate influencers. Guys, we have a lot of different content creators within our app that learn from me or learn from our people or learn from our whales or whatever the case. I wanted to make a place that wasn't just to teach people that are brand new. I want to teach the leaders too, because there's a lot of leaders out there that, yeah, you guys could be leaders. You guys are helping other people. And I love that. You guys know that I support you guys because you guys supported me. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are experts to a certain degree, okay? But they're still buying migration tokens. They still think IOUs are safe or they're not scams. David Schwartz just recently called out companies that are on the XRPL that were talking about IOUs and how they're scams because they are never going to match the previous value to the new token that you're airdropped and swapped for. Okay, because IOUs are scams, guys. Migrations are wrong. Okay, there is zero reason for a migration. If there's some sort of legitimate hack, I guess, whatever, but I just think it's full of shit. Okay, guys, I've been on both sides of this field here. I think it's bullshit. Whatever you guys want to say on that, whatever. But at the end of the day, migrations are bullshit. There is zero reason to ever migrate. I think it's nonsense. In fact, as soon as somebody tells me that they're migrating, I am gone. And I'm never going to trust that admin or that development team ever again. It is always going to be like that for me because I don't like that. It's theft. That's what it is. Because you're burning investors. You're going to reload your tokens. And instead of you just buying back your tokens, you're just going to mint some new ones. And then you're going to tell your people, don't worry, I have IOUs. We're going to airdrop you. Just send me your old token. That's bullshit. Okay. That's what governments do to people, okay? Because whenever for instance, like the CBDCs, it is basically a fiat migration because a CBDC is going to be more valuable than the US dollar. And they're going to force citizens to swap the old ones for the new ones. And the old ones are going to be 100 to 1,000x less valuable than the new ones. And then these people that are playing with the old ones are saying, well, I don't want to use the new ones. I don't want to use the new ones. And the government is going to say, sorry, you're going to have to, or else they're worthless. And it's no different in the crypto sector. And that's what upsets me so much, because we ran away from that. We're supposed to be leaving inflation. So why are we buying highly inflationary tokens? Why are we buying inflationary tokens that are 8, 12, 15% inflation rates? Why are we doing this? We just got through exiting an inflationary currency system. So why are we buying inflationary currencies? If we don't like CBDCs and we don't like the fact that we're going to lose our wealth transferring or converting our old fiat to the new fiat, and we know it's wrong, why are we doing that to each other? So that's why I say, whether, look, I know there's some leaders out there, maybe they just weren't educated enough, or maybe they thought they were experts and they didn't know what they were doing. I get it, whatever. But at the end of the day, we still need to educate in the way we need to educate. We still need to deliver the truth. Okay. So, and there's guys, how many times have I delivered truth where it was something I really liked and I loved everything about it? But if somebody sits there and says, oh, we're going to migrate, or oh, we're doing this, or oh, we're going to do that, guys, I don't give a fuck if I love the token. I don't care if I loved everything about the project. If something is bullshit, it's bullshit, and I'm gone. I don't want to deal with that, because that is bias, okay? And that's what I'd really, really need you guys to focus on, because when it comes to education, it is what it is, okay? So another thing, on centralized exchanges and a lot of these different influencers out there, okay, guys, you have to understand, especially on Twitter, Twitter is fucking toxic, okay? There's a lot of people that are bought by these crypto companies, or there's a lot of people that are bought by the centralized exchanges, and they're not going to teach you DeFi because they're sponsored. If they're sponsored, why would they teach you to go trade on a DEX when they are part of a centralized exchange? Okay, they're not going to teach you these things. It's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest to their contract. So again, you're not going to hear about these things on the mainstream media because they're too commercialized. See, that's what I love about MYC, and that's what I love about a lot of our content creators, because we're self-sustainable, we're fully independent, we're not bought, we're not paid for by anybody. And that's why a lot of the things and a lot of the people don't like me out there in the sector. But unfortunately, when you're not owned by anybody, you can say whatever the fuck you want, and it is what it is. So again, guys, look, I'm not trying to beat up on a lot of these different people. I know a lot of these mainstream guys. I know a lot of these guys that are highly commercialized. I've had conversations with them and stuff like that, and I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to withhold my opinion on something because of your feelings. I'm going to have to say it is what it is, okay? Because if you could be educating on the DeFi space and you're not educating on DeFi, which is the crypto doctrine, then I just don't feel like it's right if, because you're sponsored here or because you're centralized, that you cannot educate on DeFi, because DeFi is what it's all about. Okay. So, and I get it. Everyone's going to grow. And I'll go through your comments in a little bit. But give me 1 second. I want to keep rolling with this. Okay. There was some other things that happened. Well, I'll go through your comments. It'll come back to me. But again, my favorite picks. Okay. And guys, look, for those of you that are on OddApp, okay, we have over 100 different projects we follow and we like to collect. Okay. Don't feel like because you watch me on YouTube, don't feel like, because you see me on Twitter or wherever, that you know everything about us. Okay. Clearly, I can't talk to you about every single thing. I don't have enough time and I don't make enough videos. Okay. So look, if you go to the cryptocurrency channel, okay, or if you go to MYC community server within OddApp, okay, if you click the top left-hand corner in the box, there's a pin section. Inside that pin section is a ton of different picks that a lot of our people like, a lot of you guys have liked, that are on radar, okay? So just because I like ArcBlock, I like BlueZill, because I like Jasmine, because I like Dragon Chain, LCX, whatever, does not mean that that's the only things that are out there. Okay. I don't want you guys to ever feel like, just because I'm parabolically successful means that you got to do everything that I'm doing. Okay. You guys have to have your own section, your own office to figure out what you guys like, because there's a lot of tokens that are really good out there, but I can't get everything, guys. I can't afford to get every single pick in the sector. Okay. And there's a ton of different companies that we like that are on radar within that section. Okay. So don't feel like, we're just a 5 project pony. There's over 100 projects listed within cryptocurrency channel in the pin section. And you can see every single one of them. And of course, review them, get up to date with them. I can't stay updated with every single thing. So always do your own research, do your own thing. And keep in mind, some people make money on trading, short-term trading, long-term trading, leveraging. Some people like liquidity providing. They like validating. They like mining. There's some people that like to stake. There is a different office for every single one of you, okay? But you got to find yourself in the sector because everyone has a niche. Everyone has a niche. Some people like making money off NFTs, okay? I'm not an NFT guy. Have I sold NFTs? Yeah, but I'm not an NFT person, okay? So again, everyone has a specialty. I have my own specialty. My specialty is holding long as shit and making double to triple multipliers. And it's worked for me. That's what I'm good at because I don't like trading. I don't like leverage trading. I don't like short-term trading. I like buying real shit, holding it for a long time, knowing people are going to want it later. And there's not a damn thing they could do about it because I will be holding 1 to 2 years before you even found it. Okay. There would be no concern for me about what I'm holding by the time you even find it. Okay. So that's the point. I buy things that people don't know they need yet. Okay. If you guys didn't notice, the White House just got through releasing a press conference how they were going to invest in climate change projects. And they're also going to be investing in digital ID. What does that sound like? What does that sound like? So a lot of these companies are going to be needed. DID, digital ID, okay, is going to replace KYC. KYC is going away. There is not going to be KYC. It's going to be DID. Everyone's going to have it. Everyone's going to use it. Okay. If you don't know that today, you're going to know that tomorrow. I promise you, you're going to know that tomorrow. Let's keep it rolling. Crypto Maniac says, "What's up, whippersnappers?" Crimson says, "Awesome. Join MYC yesterday. Now a video. Most excellent." Yeah, absolutely, guys. And keep in mind too, every month I'm consistently reinvesting in ODEP. Okay. I have a developer team. I am providing updates. I just started experimenting with ChatGPT to debug. So we've been noticing, faster messaging, faster loading time, stuff like that. But again, guys, look, because I'm actively working on this project, or not project, but like working on the app itself, okay? Sometimes I'll make something really fast, or sometimes I'll make something really good, but it'll create maybe a bug somewhere else that I got to resolve. So if you do, for whatever reason, see, any intermittent or whatever, just know that I'm working on it, or whatever the case. I'm consistently working on ODAP 24/7, and I reinvest in ODAP every single month. Okay. So yes, I know that, there's little things here or there, stuff like that when I'm doing changes or whatever the case. However, it's to get this thing going to the next level. I always want to continue developing it and then also building off more features and all that other stuff. Okay. So, I'm not like some of these other companies out there that are waiting for funding or whatever the case, guys. Because we have a sustainable model, I'm consistently able to continue developing the software and making it better. Okay. For instance, and this is not to call this particular, it's just a good example. Okay. This is just a particular example. For instance, Telcoin. A lot of people like Telcoin. We made a lot of money on it a couple cycles ago. It was great at that time. Okay. They did not have a sustainable business model. Okay. A sustainable business model is going to have a product or a service that drives enough demand for the token in order to create reoccurring revenue. Okay. You're going to need a sustainable business model, unfortunately, in the crypto sector. Okay. And I know a lot of people in the crypto sector want to be investors and they're only here to make money and blah, 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 whatever. I get it. However, these projects and you are a venture capitalist. So when you are a venture capitalist, you need, unfortunately, these companies to make money. They need to have a product, they need to have a service, and they need to have a sustainable model and a product or a service worth paying for. Okay. That's what makes them successful. A bad example of this that is, a failure would be Telcoin. Okay. A lot of people like Telcoin. There's a lot of promoters on it, stuff like that. It'll be a pump and dump regardless. But here's the point. It's not to call them out. There's still a way they could shift everything around and make it a sustainable business model. But in this case, they are not. Okay. They're going to just burn funding and they're going to go back to zero, just like the last couple cycles. And the reason why is because they don't have a sustainable business model. They don't have a product or a service worth users or you paying for. So that's why their app was dead for 2 years. Their app was deactivated for 2 years. And then when a bunch of crypto kids were promoting it, it got pumped, they dumped it. And then out of nowhere, after 2 years of being dormant, 2 years of their app being closed, not working, they were able to pay for maintenance. They were able to activate it again because they got funding. But again, the process is going to repeat itself because they don't have a business. They don't have a sustainable business model. So that's why I tell you guys, if you're in the crypto sector, yes, I understand we want to create or make money or, whatever the case, and we want to take advantage of scalability in the sector. But you need to understand who you are as an investor. Okay. There is 99% risk, okay, out there in the sector because a lot of these projects are just tokens. A lot of these projects do not have a sustainable business model. Okay. They're startups. So the chances of you failing are extremely high, extremely high. So you have to, as an investor or a venture capitalist, really look for a business model. And I could promise you guys, over 90% of these companies do not have a sustainable business model. They don't have a product or service worth paying for, or they don't have a model that creates enough demand or a model that creates a demand in general to purchase the token to utilize for the product or the service. So knowing these things, you need to keep this in mind. Now, keep in mind, there's scalability out there. There's a lot of things that could happen, and without all those things, I get that. Okay. But as an investor for long-term purposes, these are going to be the new things that the new genre of investors are going to be looking for, okay? Because people aren't as stupid as they were in 2017 in the crypto sector. People aren't as stupid as 2019 or the 2021 bull cycle. They're not as stupid, okay? Because keep in mind, in 2021, people thought 40 to 60 to 70% yield on a staker token was sustainable. That was in 2021. Okay. So, a lot of people didn't realize what was going on. They didn't know that that yield being so unsustainable was draining liquidity out of the tokens. They had all these tokens. They thought they were making passive income. And meanwhile, liquidity was being drained until the price ultimately imploded. Okay. So again, I would not to, call that particular example out, but what I'm trying to tell you guys is there is a new educated or a new evolution of investors that are growing in the sector, or they're getting more and more educated and they're doing less and less stupid things. Okay. So because of those things, you have to take a look at these business models a little bit differently and say, okay, what's the product? What's the service? What's driving demand to pay for that product or service? Is it viable? These things. If it's just a meme coin, whatever. Okay. I get it. There's a lot of gamble coins out there and that's fine too, but again, for those of you that are serious or you really want to have something with a future, these are just certain things to think about. And I understand that we have a lot of different people that like to gamble or just like to have fun or whatever. That's fine, but just to put that out there. Jungle Frog says it works. I bought right before the first when Jamie Dimon opened his mouth. We are up a lot. Yeah, absolutely. That is a very good signal. Okay, so what is a good bear signal or what is a good signal for a dip or a good short signal on Bitcoin would be whenever Michael Saylor buys Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I think this year he's been getting a little bit lucky, so we'll see. Maurice says, a hot dog definitely sent me here. Don't forget. Crypto Lojo says, yeah, buddy, good to see you. Yeah, guys, it's always good to see you guys. I want to do more videos, stuff like that. But it's just, I'm only one guy. I'm only one guy, and I do so many different things all at once. I have 4 different people helping me on Twitter. There's different things I try to do to try to distribute, my bandwidth. But I know a lot of you guys got your different lives, or you guys have your different careers, stuff like that. It takes a special sort of person to really get into what we do or get into the crypto sector. I want to shout out, Checkmate Investing, and also I forget the word. I think it was like Lee Q. I forget, but it's Chef Leon. I want to shout you guys out. Crypto Arc, I want to shout out a lot of you guys. For Society. a lot of you guys are, awesome. I love that you guys are inspired to get into the sector. You want to produce content, you want to make things, like you want to build things. A lot of you want to do NFT projects. Like that is what this is all about. Okay. I love you guys being investors, but I love you guys being builders too, So I love the fact that we have, a network, a real network. We have developers, we have builders, coders, we have NFT guys, we have admins, we have different people part of our network. And that's the point. You could learn more about us on MYCNETWORK.CRYPTO, or you could find us in your phone. If you have an Apple or Google device, find us on your app store, ODD, ODD app. And that's where we do most of our work. We work there every single day. If you want to talk to me every single day, that's where I'm at. Besties for Life says 69 years, 69-year coffin. Absolutely. Besties for Life, MYC. Yep, absolutely. Crypto Lojo says XRP not easy to find. Yeah, no, it's not really. But again, you don't need centralized exchanges for XRP. A lot of people are buying it from Uphold or buying it from BitTrue or whatever. Guys, you could buy a Zoom wallet and hook up to the XRP toolkit, and you could purchase XRP directly there. You can even purchase ETH. You could purchase Bitcoin. You could purchase Euro or USD. You could do, there's so many different on-ramps, and this is kind of why I get kind of upset with some of the whippersnappers out there that are so hyper-focused on centralized exchanges. And I'm just like, I get it. But at the same time, for all the cycles that we have been in, a lot of these companies, a lot of these projects, the ones that you like on these centralized exchanges, we were buying when they had zero exchanges. We were buying them on DeFi exchanges. Okay. So again, these are not proper data analytics, or they're not proper estimations on whether or not something will be successful, guys. I really disagree with those things, and I really don't want you guys to make those rookie mistakes. So I hate to hammer on you guys, or I hate to beat up on some of you guys a little bit, but it really isn't to do that. And I am getting a lot nicer. I promise I'm getting a lot nicer. Way nicer, trust me. And for some of you that met me like, years ago, I mean, for real. But let's keep rolling. Steaks and joints are my favorite. Absolutely. Let's build this space. Yeah, absolutely. I do not like Solo or Core. I'm really upset with that dev team. Every single time they just continue to upset me. The whole IOU is a complete scam. I really don't like how they did that. And I do not throw around the word scam a lot. I really don't. And I don't like the migration. And a lot of people are sitting there saying it's interoperable and all that stuff. Guys, David Schwartz, if you don't want to hear it from me, you can hear it from David Schwartz. Okay. It is not interoperable. It is not interoperability, because if it was truly interoperable, why the fuck is there an IOU? Okay. Flare is bullshit. Core is bullshit. There is zero reason why there was a migration. There was zero reason for there to be an IOU printed. There is zero reason for 3 coins to be minted in under a year and a half for the same brand. Again, I saw it go up or whatever. It dumped on everybody or whatever, and it's going to continue to trade to zero, I feel, until they come up with the new mint that'll be on IBC. And then all those little cute IOU tokens that you guys have, they're going to say, sorry, you're going to have to trade those in for these new ones. Okay. And then while you guys are very hyped up about that L1, you're going to say, oh, I love this. I love this. And then there's going to be a whole new marketing sequence about staking and airdrops and liquidity transfers and IOUs and airdrop. Like, I know, guys, I know you failed about 11 months ahead now. Okay. 11 months ahead, I knew. Okay. And now a lot of you guys are experiencing exactly everything I told you about. And some of you haven't seen the end of it yet, but give it about 4 more months and you're going to start seeing it too. But again, I called that out almost a year ago, and literally, it happened. So, and thank you for a lot of you guys that actually, gave me compliments. Some of you actually left the community and were like, well, Dion, you were right. Yeah, I know I'm right, because I know the bullshit strategies a lot of these little whippersnappers do. A lot of the staker token guys, oh yeah, it's passive income. It's passive income. Just lock it in. Lock your staker token in there. We'll find out. Yeah, you're going to find out. Okay, so look, I'm telling you. So as soon as that new ecosystem pops up on IBC, they're going to start telling you to stake. Then you're going to stake in order to get your new airdrop or your new project. Oh, you got to stake. You got to stake. And it's just going to be a fucking laundromat. That's what it's going to be. But I'm out on that. I mean, and guys, look, that's my opinion, I guess. Gomes, what up? See, I haven't seen Gomes in a while. I hope you're doing good, bro. Speaking of IOU, can I borrow $50? Absolutely not, sir. You're on fire. I am liking what you're saying. Thank you, sir. Diamond D, thank you. Yes, Omex. I'm happy you brought this up. Looks like Ripple is fighting back BS with Solo and Core. Ripple made their own DEX and NFT platform. I think Swartz was calling out Bob. Yes, he was. He was specifically because it is bullshit. It's what's sad is like I personally feel like I deserve extreme credit for not only like put it this way. For what we've done and for how successful we've been, okay, I would think that we would have enough respect for people to hear the warning before they get rugged, okay? And for whatever reason, people just love getting rugged. I don't know what it is, but we talked about the IOUs nonstop. Same thing with Flare, same thing with other bullshit. We kept talking about all these IOUs. These migrations, it's bullshit. These hacks, it's bullshit. I didn't like guys, when that happens, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. I don't like that. Same thing with Sushi Swap. A lot of people like Sushi Swap, which is a DEX. That was bullshit. They got hacked. And then after they got hacked, they fixed it afterwards. We fixed it, after 100 million is gone. So look, bullshit. Uniswap has never had those issues. Well, actually, I take that back. There has been some issues every once in a while that I've seen. A lot. Another thing, HBAR. HBAR got hacked. Everybody just swept that under the rug, and it's like a massive hack. But yes, I was. Again, like I said, Esteban. Like I said, there's a lot of picks that I could be really bullish on, and I love everything about it. But if an admin starts doing dumb shit, or if you start doing bullshit, I'm gone. I am not that type of investor. I don't fuck around. I could love something 1,000% today. Okay. And in 45 minutes, if I hear an admin is fucking around, I'm gone. I'm not going to wait around. Okay. That's not what I do. Okay. I'm not going to sit here imprisoned to a pick because I like it or because I'm sauced. Okay. If I hear bullshit, I'm out the door. I don't play like that, especially with my money. I don't. And you shouldn't either. Let's see. For Life says, once the rewards come, we out the back door to Panama. Absolutely. Omex says, yeah, so they're fighting. I did like that. They did call out not only the IOUs, but they also called out the Riddlers. I like that they finally started saying something about the Riddlers and all the bullshit. I'm really happy they started touching on that. I'm really happy David Schwartz has been hammering on that stuff because it's about expectations. You want to have set the right expectations, and you have to look at things a little bit differently because, like, for instance, a lot of people think Solo could go to a higher number, but I disagree simply because it's like now you have more in circulation. You have 400 million, not 200 million. When its first scale up happened, there was 200 million locked, so you had a tokenomic cap of 200 million versus 400 million. It's not going to scale as fast, and it's not going to be the same type of scale. So you have to pay attention not only to the tokenomics of it, but you have to pay attention to circulation, or you have to pay attention to the cap, also the circulation, and a variety of other things. It's not just about if it's a large or a small cap, it's going to go good, or you have to take a look at multiple things, and also your entry. Your entry is also going to matter too. To me personally, I don't think 2x per dollar is worth my time. I don't know about you guys, but it's not worth mine. I think 10x minimum per dollar. If I'm going to be starting in the pennies, if I'm at $1, I'm still measuring at a 10x, to $10. Or if I'm starting at the $10 mark, I'm looking at the $100. If I'm looking at $100, I'm looking at the $1,000. I measure risk to growth ratio there, and I measure it out in multipliers. And if the multipliers don't make sense, I'm too late. That's how I see it. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, everybody likes it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, there's marketing and all that. No, if the multipliers are not there, I'm not there. I don't give a fuck. There's always going to be another good pick. There's always going to be a nice project. Some of you guys need to wake up out of the Kool-Aid. Okay. There's always going to be something new. Dan says legend. Checkmate says cheers. Goem says I am well, just playing some online. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely hit the gym. A lot of you guys, don't forget to take care of your bodies. I'm doing 4x a week. Don't forget. Tokenized Avocado says, whatever happened to Smartlands SLT? Well, it did really good at first. We did I think it was like a 10x at one point. Then again, the admin mentioned that he wanted to migrate. As soon as he said migration, we were out the back door. I was gone. But like always, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about some of you that you hear the word migration and you think it's going to be different for different brands. It is never going to be different. Okay. The process of a migration is always the same. Always the same. If the admin says migration, you better be out the back door ASAP. Okay. Because you're going to get rugged. And on top of that, the IOU or the new token they're going to swap your old one out with, okay, is never, like David Schwartz, the holy donkey, said himself. I don't know if you got to hear it from me or you need to hear it from Brad the Garlic House, Peter Shaft, or fucking Robert Teriyaki. I don't know who you need to hear it from, but every migration process is going to be the same. I don't care what brand it is or what Kool-Aid you're swimming in, okay? Pay attention and stay updated on any project that you like or whatever token you're holding. If the admin says he's migrating, I don't care if it's even a whisper. I don't care if he even says, I'm thinking or considering a migration. You get out of there ASAP immediately, okay? And I don't know how many times you guys got to learn the same lesson on this. But again, any company, don't fucking stay in there. Let's go on. The USD right now is at 102.46, and somehow for some reason it's deflating. But I will say that as the dollar is deflating and asset prices are going up, that to me means that the dominance level of the USD is not taking hold on assets anymore. So even if the dollar at a higher price point and assets still going up, that means that you're getting less dollar impact. So, again, this is all showing you guys, especially with the de-dollarization happening right now, that assets are going to continue to rise because the dollar is buying less. And I do feel as we head forward, okay, that we're going to enter into a bond market crisis, okay? And the first signal about the bond market crisis to me was when yields were going up. When the yields were going up, that was a call for liquidity because they didn't have enough liquidity. It works the same way with tokens. Whenever tokens don't have enough liquidity, sometimes that project, they'll offer a higher percentage yield for stakers or whatever the case, or liquidity providers, they hire a higher staking yield or whatever in order to attract liquidity. But when you saw the dollar or the dollar bonds start to up the yield, that was a call for liquidity. And as you guys could see, a lot of the liquidity is not being in the market. It's not being in the stock market. It's actually going to the reverse repo market. In fact, the last time I checked the reverse repo market, it was about, I think, $2.4 trillion. And the reason why they're going there is because, yeah, maybe the yield is 2-3%, but it's zero risk, okay? But again, the only reason why they think it's worth it, even if they are losing a little bit of money holding their money there, they're saying, oh, I'm getting a small percentage rate, but they're calculating based off of inflation being, I think, at 6% or 5.4% or whatever it was. But again, when the CPI reports come out, I believe it's on April 13th, the CPI reports come out and the inflation is going up. A lot of this liquidity is going to be exiting these markets. And that's why I keep telling you guys, stable coins, the money market accounts, they are going to be liquidated. Okay. Do not wait for the news. Do not wait to be liquidated. Do not wait to be depegged, okay? Because stable coins or holding stable coins is not self-custody. It is not self-custody, okay? Hold assets. That's self-custody. Stable coins are not assets, okay? Because now you're talking about holding a dollar-pegged, okay, coin And if the dollar is buying less, then why would you hold the stable coin? Because you're going to be holding the bomb, the debt bomb. Remember, like I was telling you guys, you're holding the dollar, you're holding the debt bomb, you're holding something that's going down in value, you're losing buying power, you're holding the bomb, and it's going to explode in your hands. And when it explodes in your hands, you're going to be here sidelined, assets go up and you're going down. And the reasons why the assets went up is because your asset went down. You see? So that's why I tell you guys, utilize the buying power you have right now. Okay. Nothing at this time is about profits. Nothing at this time is about margin. Everything right now is accumulation. Everything right now is getting set up, getting in position, because we are on a ticking time bomb at this point now. And again, I mean, you guys saw what happened. I told you last video, plebs are going to weep missing these bottoms. I told everybody, and every bear, every expert out there was sitting there, yeah, but yeah, it's going to go lower. Yeah, you know, all this bullshit. And you guys were holding the bomb. And look what happened. The dollar drained out from 104 and it skyrocketed. And I think Bitcoin at that time went to about 24, 25,000. And now we're almost to 30,000. What's a good DeFi? Esteban asks, what's a good DeFi token on the XRPO? You know, I'm very beat. You know, I will say maybe I'm biased on this. You know, maybe I'm biased. I really do feel like XRPL sucks. I really do. I feel like until Ripple and David Schwartz really starts hammering down on the bullshit with these riddles and everything else in between, the XRPO is just a shitty place to build, because what's happening, guys, is, and again, look, if you're part of the XRP community, this should concern you, okay? Because the way L1 scale is when investors and users are admins. The admins are the users that are buying buying XRP to back their token with, okay? So if there's not enough value being, like, let's say there's not enough value being shared for the tokens or the layer twos, then there's not going to be a lot of admins that want to hold XRP. Admins are the ones that are holding the majority of XRP tokens, not really investors. It's a little bit, I mean, you have a mixture of the two, but until the community values L2s as a store of value instead of just L1, you're not going to have true scalability. You're always going to have up and down effects. You're not going to have sustainability. Sustainability happens for an L1 like ETH when enough investors and users, admins, look at the L2 as a store of value as well, not just the L1, because there needs to be a proper valuation for holding the tokens and the coin, okay? Because if too many people do not value the L2, they're always going to dump the L2 and then just store the L1. And that's why a lot of the XRP kids are suffering right now, because a lot of the admins are migrating off the XRPL. Okay. So until we get the Kool-Aid kids out and we start educating to a higher degree and evolutionizing our investors out there, you're not going to get the scalability that you guys need. So that's why I tell you that it's important for you guys to also look at L2s as stores of value, or you're never going to get enough scalability in the L2, which is going to drive the admins on the L2 to leave the XRPL. And that's going to hurt the ecosystem in general. So you're not going to get enough demand, because what ends up happening right now, right, is the admins experience what I just told you. And, you know, as they were building their project on the XRPO, what ends up happening is they notice the bullshit. And then they say, well, we're going to get out of here then. Okay. But here's the bad part. When they leave, when they get out, when they leave, now they're taking the group of the community they built out of XRP. So that's why I'm telling you guys, you know, when you start having these admins develop L2s and they introduce scalability to the XRP community and they leave, those people are leaving with them because they see real scalability happen. So again, I'm not saying XRP is going to fail. I think it'll do well, but again, and for you to get the scalability that you need, that'll be sustainable, I don't know if you guys want to continue holding this coin for 5 years for 5x and only get 30 cents to $1.50, or $3, $4, $5 or whatever, because there is multipliers there. But again, is 5 to 10x worth holding an asset for 3 years? No. 4 years? No, I don't think so, because I've made wild ass multipliers holding for half the time. Okay. And again, it's okay to store value if you want to store value, and that's fine, just like any other layer one, XRP, XLM, Algo, if you guys like H bar still, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever, Cosmos, DOT. If you're cool with that, then you're cool with that. That's fine. But for me, my strategy is based on rapid growth. I want aggressive growth. I'm an aggressive investor. I hold long. I do very well, but at the same time, I'm still aggressive, okay? Because I'm young. I'm not an older guy. For my longer term positions, I have no problem just holding ETH, okay? Or holding this or holding that, whatever the case, But for my real strategy, I'm going to be holding more aggressive picks. I'm going to be holding emerging markets. XRP, to me, it's already a little bit developed, and I don't think 2x per dollar is worth it to me. Okay. That's the way I measure things. I measure it like, if I'm going to buy XRP, I'm not going to buy XRP because 2x per dollar is not worth it to me. I'd rather buy XLM because I could buy XLM and it's 10x per dollar, and I know it'll break $1 this cycle. It's a better buy. Would I buy Bitcoin or ETH? I'd rather buy ETH because Bitcoin, yeah, it could go up pretty high. However, I could get more multipliers for my money in ETH. Again, I don't care about the brand. I don't care about any of the bullshit you guys listen to. I don't care about any of the bullshit riddles, any of the hopium. I don't need any of that. And guys, look, I hate to break it down like this to you guys, but look at what we've accomplished, okay? And look at what we have done. And you have to take a look at things like that in a way and be like, well, maybe Dion has a point on certain things. He has grown. He has done this. He has done that. Maybe he knows a thing or two, or maybe he's worked with enough admins to understand scalability or understand potentials, or whatever, And again, you guys could have your opinions, and that's fine. But what I always measure my entry, or I measure my time, because I'm using my time if I'm positioned somewhere. If I'm going to be somewhere, I want to be in brand new emerging markets or something that's developing, not developed. Because if it's developed, it's already fished. I'd rather get undeveloped projects or projects that are coming up or emerging into the Web3 space, because I know that's going to be a better deal for me. For instance, like Jasmine. Jasmine, we bought it at what, 0.002 something. Now it's at I think 0.006 something, and that's still cheap, but it's gonna be another one of those tokens that you could have bought for the decimals, and it's gonna be worth, in the double-digit pennies or whatever at some point, or maybe it might be worth $1 one day or whatever the case, But again, it's an emerging market, and I take advantage of that. I'd rather buy that than buy XLM, or I'd rather buy. These are certain things that I do because I want to have multipliers over just buying something because, everyone else is so popular, there's marketing everywhere on it. Like, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. Okay. Tokenized Avocado says, what about WazPay? I think WazPay is a complete rug, and it always has been. It was a rug last cycle. It was the rug. I didn't like it, never liked it. I don't believe in it at all. But if you like it, you like it, but I think it is not a good play. I don't know. I don't know if the problem is I don't know if even Solo is going to stay on XRPL. They say it's going to stay on XRPL. We'll see what happens. But personally, I just think a lot of these coins are going to be left in the dust, because you already saw if they treated Solo like the way they treated Solo, Core is going to be treated the same way when they start making other coins and other tokens on their brand. Guys, you already hear what they're telling you. I mean, I don't know why this is like, rocket science. If they are launching an L1 on IBC, okay, the next step is, we need you guys to build on here. We need you guys to build. So when the next thing gets built, guess where all the marketing goes? To the new one. And then the new one. And then the new one. And then whatever you're holding is fucking old news, just like Solo. So again, look, best of luck to some of you guys on some of these, but I just don't see it anymore, because it's like once you get disrespected the first time, at that point, How come we didn't get red glow stick parties for fucking solo? We got washed in a real estate deal versus red glow sticks. So at this point, red means stop. But we'll see what happens. But again, I mean, guys, look, you guys like what you like. There's a lot of stuff that I can't even get. But I do wish everyone success. At the end of the day, guys, I do. I really wish every person success, and I want you guys to do well. But like whenever I see admins doing dumb things, or they disrespect the old community, they disrespect communities, or they do certain things that that aren't right to me, at some point, I don't have to stay somewhere. It's like maybe I'm just, too old in that community, and I need to move on, and maybe the new guys need to come in and, whatever. Sometimes it happens like that too. Sometimes you just got to move on and then, get the next one, but you're never going to see an opportunity like the one we had. I'll tell you that. Let's see. I don't have too much else, guys, but look, MYCNetwork.io. And don't forget OddApp. Would love to have you guys on there. That's where I am every single day. We're going to have voice conferences every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, okay, if you're on OddApp, we're going to have voice conferences every Wednesday, 10 p.m. EST, okay? If you want to learn more about us, MYCNetwork.io, or you could find us in your app store, whether you have an Apple device or a Google device, tablet, or phone. And you could find us under OddApp, ODD app. And I will catch you guys on the next one. And I wish everyone luck. Right now, guys, alts are not supposed to be performing. L2s are not supposed to be performing. Yeah, you're gonna have some upticks. Maybe like some of our plays, we're at a stabilized 2x, stabilized 3x. But right now, there's nothing to do. It's very subtle growth. Okay. However, we're not in alt season yet. What's going to be the movers right now is Bitcoin, ETH. Those are really going to be your movers. But for now, all alts are just chilling. Okay. Those are just relaxing at this time. We're in accumulation phase, but we will start doing a lot better as we move forward. Don't forget, there's a lot of things happening. You have Fed now, and perhaps inflation checks. They're probably going to, I really want to know when they're going to come out with it. We'll see what happens, but Fed now is definitely going to be the pathway to that. But again, that's supposed to be coming, I believe, in July. And the debt ceiling is supposed to be raised by June. Okay. Jerome already said to raise it by June. We just did a quarter point raise for BPS. I don't think it's going to be that next time. Maybe they might do a rate pause to see what damage they have done. But if you've taken a look around the world, a lot of the central banks right now are pausing rate, or even considering or talking about reversing rates. Okay. Besides that, Bitcoin halving 2024. And, again, look, like I said, right now is not about profit. Right now is not about margin. Right now is about setting yourself up. Okay. The cycles, the lessons and the cycles, all the different little things that we learn, or, we teach to you guys, it's very repetitive. I mean, not to this exact, but, it's repetitive and it's rhythmatic. So I want you guys to still understand, that you should not be measuring your analytics, especially for some of our influencers out there. You shouldn't be measuring your analytics based on today's performance, because you're an investor. If you're an investor, you're not here for today's performance. You're here for tomorrow's performance. Okay. So stay green, guys. I stay green. I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. I'm wrong sometimes. I can't think of when, but no, but still, stay green out there. Okay. I'm going to stay green, and I want you guys to stay green too. Okay. Walter says people have no patience. That's why 90% of people don't make money in crypto. That is correct, guys. Look, I'm really honest with you guys. Look, 90% of people fail in crypto. Okay. They really do. 90%. Okay. A lot of people fail, and it's because they fail to stay green. All right. And that's something I don't ever want to do. I don't ever want to get too smart to the point where I'm incapable of learning something new. There's a lot of things I'm learning, but also at the same time, I know a lot. I know a great deal, where I've saved many people from, wrecking themselves or spending more money than they needed to. Okay. It's not just about price go up. Okay. Not everything is about price go up. Some things that I'm teaching is about not getting wrecked, making sure that, you're not just getting, Kool-Aid sauced, Uh, I do like Deso. I do think that they have something. It could be something. I It just depends on what you do, I think for the multipliers, I'm not too interested. It's just too expensive for me. It's just not for me. But I do think it's a good company. I mean, they have an app. It's their own app. Okay. Like another thing too. Here's another thing, guys. Look, I want you. It's sad that some people have to wait to hear it from a billionaire, but you have to hear the future for what it is and what it's going to be. Okay. Odd app has odd. Twitter is going to have Dogcoin. Dragon Chain has den.social. A lot of these apps and a lot of these different companies are going to be integrating their software and increasing demand for their currencies. Okay. And the whole process and the whole point of what things are supposed to be is a lot like Chuck E. Cheese's. If you want to play in the arcade games, right? You want to play the arcade, you want to take your kids and play in the arcade game. What do you have to do? You have to buy the tokens. What created the demand for you to exchange your fiat for the tokens? The arcade games. These are the products and the services. So it created demand for you to go buy the token to go play over there. Okay. So you have to have a business model. Unfortunately, in the financial world, okay, I know a lot of you want everything free. I know some of you are communist, but look, I need you to press pause for half a second, okay? Businesses, believe it or not, need to make money, okay? So if you're an investor and you're looking at projects, crypto projects, there needs to be a sustainable business model. Is there a product? Is there a service? Are those products and services driving enough demand for the token? Are those products or services in demand enough for users to pay for that product? Is your company, is your product, is your service good enough for people to pay for it? We're living examples of it today. MYC Odd App. I'll talk to you guys right after this video on Odd App. And let's keep having a good time, guys. Keep your heads up. And again, for those of you, that are new or younger or whatever the case, do not stop producing income. Okay. Don't just hold something and wait for miracles. Keep producing income, keep stacking, whether it be crypto or whether it be stocks or precious metals, real estate, whatever it may be. Do not stop producing income. Don't get lazy. Continue to produce and keep stacking. Okay. Don't put everything on a hope. Okay. Keep making money. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. You guys know I love you. If you like this video, please like the video for MYC, and I'll catch you guys on the app. All right. And I'll talk to you guys on the next one.